Hello guys, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. Alright, so we have an article here that I want to share with you. Of course, I'll put the link down below in the description for you guys. But I found this article very interesting, and I wanted to share it with you for two reasons. One, you may have been affected by this, and you may be eligible for some money. So there's a claim that you have to make. In the article, there's a link where you can do that to find out if you're on the list, all right? Secondly, this makes me want to talk about how we pity some of these companies, you know, our favorite cable companies, wireless companies. You know, DIRECTV is a well-known company, all right? They've been around for years. Many of us use them to provide entertainment for our families, all right? We have an attachment to, some of us may have an attachment to some of these cable companies or wireless companies. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, when we find out that some of our favorite companies are losing money or they may be looking to sell off because they're not in the financial situation they need to be to stay in business, we often have a soft spot in our heart for them because of the fact that we've become so reliant on them, you know, whether it's because every night we go home and we watch movies on DIRECTV or shows. It's, you know, a lot of people use DIRECTV as a way to gather the family around, have family night, date night. You know, entertainment is something very big in this world for us, okay? We all use it to numb our minds, to find escape from our issues, our daily lives, whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all guilty of that, right? We all do that. If we didn't do that, we'd be really bored half the time, right? So we all like to be entertained, and that's you know, why companies like DIRECTV are in business, right? Nothing wrong with that. But oftentimes they make a lot of poor decisions which put themselves in a vulnerable situation. This is one of them, all right? And it's a silly thing, it really is, and it's not the worst thing you could do ever, but there are repercussions to what they did and what they tried to do, should I say, which is why this was brought to the attention of the law, you know, and this is why this is in court. And, you know, I got to say that I think it's very foolish of DIRECTV to do this, what they did. And I think that they should be forced to pay. Okay, so here's the article. All right, so the article is asking if you got calls from DIRECTV to sign up even though you were on a do not call list. So DIRECTV has apparently agreed to pay $16.85 million as part of a class action settlement to people who received marketing calls from DIRECTV even though they were on a do not call list. So the catch is you have until tomorrow, which is August 7th. So any of you that are watching this today, if you get to it fast enough, notifications go out, or if you just have time to watch the video, there's going to be a link that you can click on in this article to verify whether or not you've been affected. So you have to make the claim or you could miss out. According to the website managing this settlement, the estimated average of the payment will be about $464. So obviously you don't want to wait, they're saying. So here's what you need to know. DIRECTV has settled a class action lawsuit that claims that its dealer AC1, based in Ohio, made telemarketing calls to people whose numbers were on the National Do Not Call Registry without consent. It says you are included in the settlement if your telephone number is one of 113,997 known numbers that received calls. You can fill out a short claim form. They're saying what they estimate to be a minimum of $324 in cash and an estimated average of over $464. They're saying these payments will come from a $16.85 million settlement fund. This fund will also be used to pay for the cost of notifying people about the settlement, the lawyer's fees, and awards to the people who helped bring the lawsuit. It says if you are included, your legal rights are affected whether you act or do not act. So they say to read the notice carefully. So the court in charge of the case hasn't decided to approve it just yet. So payments will only be made if the court decides the settlement is fair and approves the settlement. The court has ordered the notice. All right. And like I said, if you want to find out if you qualify and file a claim, there is a link in this article for you guys to check. And they suggest you do it right away because there's not much time. Okay. So, obviously this has to be approved. I think it's likely going to be approved for the reasons I mentioned earlier, but also what I'm about to say now. Okay. When you sign up for service, you are given the option to opt in or opt out. If you opt out, it means that you're supposed to be respected by the company and they are not supposed to spam you with marketing calls, right? Some people really hate that. Okay. But just besides annoyance, there are many people that sign up for service, right? They have someone go down with them to help them sign up for the service or contact the support center or whatever to get the service set up because they're at a disadvantage. These robocalls target specific kinds of people. Usually it's elderly that is not familiar with technology very much, doesn't understand how these plans work, but just wants a service. Okay, so a lot of times they have their children or a friend that's a little bit younger, a little more tech savvy, a little bit more understanding of how all these services work and how the contracts work and all of it. Okay, so they target elderly. They often target people that don't speak English very well. Okay, they may even go after specific types of businesses that, employees sometimes answer the phone and they might accidentally agree to something without authority. So they know what they're doing. And it's a little bit of a dirty game because what they tried to do here was upsell and make profits. And now it looks like they're going to have to pay instead. So it was a poor decision, if you ask me, for them to try to do something and not respect the wishes of the people that have opted out, to try to go beyond their wishes, to try to make a few dollars. And now it looks like they're going to lose a lot more than just a few dollars. So I think if you catch my drift, you know what I'm saying. Like, this is the problem with a lot of these companies is they just don't make the right decisions sometimes. And we often feel sorry for them. But you made your bed and now you got to lay in it, DIRECTV. So if you have to pay this, it's on you. And this could have been more. It could have been more, So, but every penny, for every, million they're losing, this is the problem with these companies. They're, we're always hearing about how they're struggling. Consumers aren't interested. Yeah, I think consumers are interested. But what we forget to talk about is all the dumb mistakes that they make, all the improper business decisions that are made, behind the scenes, and they just like to blame it on, the economy is bad. And yeah, I mean, it is, but they also make a lot of bad decisions. This is almost 17 million they're going to get hit with, if that rate doesn't even change. I mean, this is the proposed amount. Judge has to approve it. I think it will get approved because I think the judge is going to realize what I just said. You're trying to scam people at a disadvantage. All right. You contact someone who's just not very savvy in the industry. They don't understand how it works. And you got 3 months of, free service, and then, you don't realize that you're agreeing to, after the 3 months, $120 a month, or who knows what it is. I'm just using that as an example, but you get what I'm saying. And that's the problem, shady practices, shady decisions can often lead to their downfall, their spiral. So I'm just saying, I think we got to think about it this way. We like tech, but at the end of the day, they're just businesses. You know, they're just businesses. So we'll leave it at that. All right, guys. Like I said, link will be down below. If any of you actually have been affected by this, be curious to know. Don't give too much information away. It's the internet, you know. But just curious, I guess, if you have been. And, you know, because I mean, the thing is, like, what's the point of giving you the option to opt out if you're just going to do it anyway? And normally, you know, a robocall is a robocall. We just don't answer, right? But there's a lot of people being affected that have the old landline. They don't even have caller ID. They just pick up. They just don't even know what they're agreeing to. And yeah, I mean, you could say, well, you need to know what you're doing, but yes, you are right. You should know what you're doing, and you shouldn't just agree to anything without knowing what's really happening. But the point is, they know that there are people that are weak like that or at a disadvantage, and that's why they do it, to trick you. And they shouldn't be allowed. Not if you've specifically implied that you don't want it. You know, it's like you're walking down the street and someone starts begging you for money and you say, please don't ask me for money, and they keep doing it. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, enough, you know. So I don't know. We'll leave it at that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.